Hello and welcome to episode 26 of our Timberborn Update 6 Waterbeavers playthrough here in Cycle 28, Day 8. Probably toward the trailing end of our current temperate cycle, where last time we had made some expansions over here, caused a little bit of flooding, uncaused a little bit of flooding, and hopefully are now on a pretty good trajectory to solving a lot of the problems that we've been saying we're going to be solving for the last 15 episodes. But I believe in the power of the beavers, and we're going to get some more stuff done today, clear some things up, and just generally optimize as much as we can while we continue progressing through the technology tree. Real quick, I did want to give a huge thank you shout out to the folks in the Waterbeavers section of the Timberborn Discord for helping me with some mod troubleshooting last night. As you're watching this, or 10 minutes ago as I'm recording this, seriously, you saved this video, so appreciate you guys so much. But let's go ahead and get into this. And we've got a lot of stuff to take care of today. We have a lot of beavers that have injuries, burns, diseases, and we've not really ever been able to get a handle on that stuff. And like a lot of our problems that we have, some that I haven't gotten to yet, it's probably been caused, or at least made substantially worse, by not having enough haulers. So, one thing that we did see in earlier this week when we took a look at another Waterbeaver playthrough, got some nice ideas, inspiration from that, is, yes, friends, the hauling towers. So if we just go ahead and pop that in and take a look at, well, okay, one of these had the, all right, never mind. I don't know where it is. It's in here somewhere. But the hauling tower upgrades for all of these different triangle buildings, whatever, will help us if I can find where they are. They're somewhere. Probably. I don't know, man. I thought I figured out what this was. Oh, is this it? Forestry. Okay, hauling upgrade. But yes, it employs 10 of them. It does not increase population, and it just, well, goes on top of a building that is able to support it. So at some point I will figure out what word you want to substitute there. I'm going to put this on here, but see, this is part of the reason why I never like using these things, is because I can't figure out how to get this blasted thing on top of a building. And that is probably something I should have done off camera. But in theory, these things are supposed to go on top of something like this guy here. If I can, again, figure out how in the world it's supposed to go on. But you put this on here. Again, in theory, I'm not stupid enough to mess this up. But you get 10 beavers and their haulers, and it doesn't increase your population. So again, those of you who are like, why haven't you done this? So clearly, there is a severe disconnect between how this thing is supposed to attach to literally anything and my ability to have spatial awareness. So let's just go ahead and say it's time to figure that out, because I really should have done this off camera, but it is like 11 o'clock and I absolutely have to get something recorded or there's not going to be a video tomorrow. But see, it's like, okay, so upon further review and a whole lot of fumbling around, I've managed to figure out how this thing actually is supposed to work. And so we have to have a forester on the left and a triangle building on the right. I'd been trying it in the opposite direction. I couldn't figure out what in the world I was doing wrong. So I did cut that out to save your sanity. But now we have a bigger problem, which is neither of the foresters that I have on our map here are in a position where that is going to be a viable setup. So we're going to have to move one. Probably. So what I'm going to try to do now is see if a forester placed here will still be useful. Because remember, it has to be on the left. Unless... Actually, hold on. Let's let's try this. I'm going to be really mad if this works. We put it on that, so that's not even lined up. What am I doing? Put that there, and then we come back in here to the hauling upgrade, and we flip. Building's not flippable. Never mind. All right. Well, back to the old grind of Waterbeaver suffering we go. See, this is not a good place to put this. I can't really move the irrigation lodge or else it's going to not irrigate. So if I'm going to keep this forester here, then I have to be able to get at this pine tree, remove it, and then put a platform here that I can then put farmhouses on. Or something that is a 2x3 building. So man, I don't think it's worth it. I really don't. Like, I know you guys really like the hauling upgrade, or at least a few of you have just been absolutely just like, hey, why have you not done this? Look, it doesn't always work. It does not always work. But besides the farmhouse, there are a couple others that you can place it on top of. They have this little plus sign here. But Harvester's Cottage, like, there's not enough over here to harvest anything. I could do a lumberjack barn, I guess, but there's not enough trees growing up here, honestly. But if we did, okay, that's not even level land. First of all, what am I doing here? I don't know. Can't see anything. It's dark. Let's get that triple speed up. But man, I hate to I hate to just be like, oh, we can't do this. Too bad. Let's move on. But where am I supposed to put that? So yeah, that's fine, I guess. There's all these other upgrades too. It's just the way that this is configured on this map is just really not gonna happen. I guess like the only other thing I could possibly do would be to just put another forester here, which I wasn't planning on doing. If I did that, and then I put that guy here, that would work. But then I have an extra forester I don't need. I'm not growing trees over here. So would it be cheating to just have a forester built and pause it so it's not used just so I can have an upgrade on top of it? Like, I don't know, man. I really don't. I have no idea. But I guess that's going to be what I end up doing, because we really need to have more hauling beavers, and I can't afford to waste any more time trying to figure this out if we're going to have anything accomplished whatsoever. So I suppose that is what we are going to do. Just get that built. Go ahead and get this unlocked, and just... There we go. Alright. Now we will have hauling beavers as soon as that is taken care of. Obviously, it has to be constructed first, and it is. So there you go. We can chew on that one. But other stuff... Man, this has been a terrible first 10 minutes of this episode. But other stuff we need to fix. These water wheels currently are actually turning, but... this isn't really useful to have this set up this way, because during a bad tide, these will not be usable, while these will continue spinning. So I think what's probably going to need to happen is I'm going to need to take these wheels out, move them down here, and instead figure out some sort of way to get power through this area, which is probably not going to be too difficult, but it's definitely still going to be a pain in the butt. So, again, add that to the list of stuff we need to do just because we need to do it. And I don't have enough logs, because I know we've paused all this stuff because, again, we don't have enough beavers to run everything. But we will have to figure something out here. Good news, though, after all of that flailing around and falling on my face again, we do have 30 exotic seeds, and we're well on our way to having 35. Remember that the tree nursery requires 50, and it also requires 1,000 science, which we are slowly working toward. And, of course, science being made here in the library, there's nobody to work because we have a ton of vacancies and a ton of incapacitated beavers. Which, if you remember, brings us back to the very first thing I said in this episode, which was we need to fix our haulers problem, which is how this whole mess came out. So, injured beavers have to heal by going into an injury bed, which is where we get the half-fermented sake placed into. That's not being produced in large enough quantities because we don't have enough of these fermentation barrels making it. We have this one right here. Actually, let's just check here. Okay, I've got 3 of these making it, but there's not enough workers because, again, don't have enough beavers to do this stuff. So we're going to have to figure something out here. I think I can probably safely pause this log gnawing station. So that takes us down to, only 29 vacancies. That's progress, probably. This thing making the screw press axles also can be paused. That takes us down to 23. Why do I have unemployed beavers? That should not be a thing. Ah, they're in this district. Okay. We had some adults grow up, or some children grow up to become adults, I suppose. So, we can safely ignore that. We have the 23 here. But since they are adults, I'm going to send them back to the main district, and they can fill some of those jobs. And, of course, they'll keep breeding and doing all that stuff over there. These need to be replanted, which does mean that forester has to get turned on. The rest of this is what it is. The florist here, also, people have said that this is not a good way to get brambles, but we need brambles really, really fast, really bad, so that's why I had them do that. The recipe for the berries is supposedly a whole lot better. But we can, we can build more of these. We just have to be careful not to get too many too quick, or else, bad things happen. So, is what it is. This is waiting on metal fasteners. Okay, who'd have predicted that? So this is waiting on coal. We don't have coal because I guess we're using all of it. We're pretty much producing this stuff. We're making scrap metal. We're harvesting scrap metal. We also, speaking of things that we can't staff, we have this medium mine that does have extra recipes. And this is actually a faster recipe for coal. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and hit pause on that primitive mine and this one that's making iron. And I'm going to send some beavers in here to get coal a little bit quicker, or a lot of bit quicker, rather. And that should help us out at least a little bit. They be thirsty in this district. We need to have some sort of food, which I haven't really made any provision for. So I'm going to do at least for right now, little crappy warehouse full of, what do we have a lot of for food? Yeah, okay, not really much of anything. I'm gonna say, no, not pumpkins. I'm gonna say mushrooms are probably the best way to go. They're gonna automatically import that. Should help a little bit. Of course, 60 metal fasteners is so many metal fasteners. Yeah, but you can see this already just goes so much faster doing it this way. Food will be fixed, maybe eventually. We're trying real hard. There's a lot of moving parts that have to work together to make this happen. And I've got to find a way to cut jobs here. Got almost 1,000 rice. Oh, this one's a thing as well. I'm going to pause one farmhouse because I definitely want them to still be able to harvest, but I will get one worker, and I will also, cut our dwellers down a little bit. Alright, so we got a drought in 3 days. I've got 1,800 water. I've got 740-something lotus flower tea. And, of course, they have to... Oh, this is making spicy soda. That's right. How could I have been so ill-informed by my own creation? Yeah, we do need the spicy soda. That is true. But if I made additional medium cauldrons, I could have another cooking house that was also just making lotus flower tea. But we do have this one here that currently cannot make fried rice because it has not enough green peas. Despite us having an entire farm dedicated to green peas, actually almost none of these are available for harvesting. So maybe that's something we could just do real quick. Let them do whatever they can with this, and then flip this back over to making lotus flower tea. Although they just keep bringing in materials, so no, there they go. They're out. We'll just have them make this while they can. 2,100 water is a lot better than we were doing before. I know I have all these pumps paused, which probably is fine. But we do need to get more actual pumping going on. And since I had to demolish the little building that was here, this floodgate dam isn't going to do anything. And I think we're going to have to get rid of it, because all of this is just going to immediately disappear. But I have to have this raised up and which of course is going to mean there's no power coming through here. And there's no power going anywhere because, well, it is a drought cycle. There will be absolutely nothing happening unless we're able to spontaneously generate with the help of basic nuclear reactors, which I would love to be, using, but they have to have the degree here. Which, speaking of, we're supposed to be researching the ENS mechanical blueprints. But, predictably, spicy sodas are also an ingredient for that, in addition to an ingredient for our tree nursery, which we need to do all this other stuff. So, spicy sodas, definitely in high demand here. We just don't have enough bramble flowers, which again, is why this is making those. But I did last episode put in this lumberjack flag, and I've got it set to harvest these guys, but it doesn't seem like they're interested in doing that. Just, oh, okay, never mind. I'm sorry to have slandered. They are, in fact, doing it. Just going to take some time. So, I guess we can leave that alone. This predictably still has not been finished because we have to have 60 metal fasteners. And I guess that's where all the coal's going. And the primitive smelter. But we have 122, 120 something. So I'm going to pause this. That also will give us one worker back. We can hopefully do something here. So we have a day and a half left of power for probably 7, 8, 9 days. Let's check and see how we're doing here. Sawmill is sawmilling. We don't, for some reason, have logs coming in here. I guess they're going to take care of that. I think we're going to need more than 54 planks to do what we're trying to do here. Paper mill definitely going to get shut down. We have 322. That's fine. The factory is attempting to make metal blocks, which I probably should not be doing at the same time I'm trying to use scrap metal to make the primitive ironworks, but I guess this is fine. Yeah, there's so many things we have to match in real time. Like, it takes so long to get stuff done in this. And I know it's very frustrating to see things just kind of not materialize instantly or in a satisfactorily fast fashion. But that's just the way it goes. I'm going to say we can probably pretty safely go ahead and hit pause on this just as soon as this next one's finished. I say as it keeps looping back and forth, but that'll help solve our vacancies and a little bit of our housing problem there. But I say as it creates 4 homeless beavers. We gotta get power to the mechanized water pump. Get that coming out as fast as we can for the rest of stuff. I mean, we're gonna be fine. We have a total of 3,100 liquids. They're gonna survive. Remember, this is normal mode, so I believe that will end up being just fine. We can rotate beavers around, and there's all sorts of other ideas, strategies people have proposed for that, but we will just have to do what we are able to do. How far away are we here? Okay, 34 out of 60. That should help, maybe a little bit. The food situation still really scares me, and I'm not really sure what the best way to solve this problem is, because, like, again, so much stuff is locked behind so many different dependencies of things that we really can't just have one problem, one solution. It's one problem begets another problem that it's just circular everything. So just consider that. Consider that before you just say, hey, this is garbage, because nothing's getting solved. You're robbing Peter to pay Paul pretty much at all times when you're playing this. But seeing how the number of beavers has remained relatively consistent. Okay, I forgot to raise this. It is only a 5-day drought, so that's fine. I don't want all this water to go away. So that's good at the very least. Where does that leave us going into this drought? Well, we have plenty of rice that is not being harvested here. 1, because the large farmhouse is paused. But 2, because we already have very, very, very full storage of rice. We probably need to have more storage for rice, but we are in much more of a land crisis for farming than we are for storage. So I'm not just going to build storage to have storage. unless we absolutely need it. So that's okay. But in that same kind of vein, people have brought up some pretty good points about stockpiling resources for future stuff, specifically paper, I remember being brought up. And yes, you are correct. We need to have a lot of paper so we can do basically anything. But I also don't want to let the paper mill just run, you know, endlessly without any sort of checks or balances to it. However, I will go ahead and just put in a warehouse for paper that's kind of closer to this. That will help. Maybe. Hopefully. A tiny bit. And that's just going to be the way that it's going to be. Alright, so we have 9 unemployed beavers, which is great news for this thing as soon as it's done, because then I can have that fully staffed, which obviously is going to be a tremendous asset to getting everything unstuck, hopefully. These guys making scaffoldings, which are still in short supply. I see everything's here. Why does this still say 0? Why does it still say 0? Is it just because it's 16 2/3 days? It's just that slow until we see that 1%? Or maybe it's just because this beaver is not clocked in. All right, well, hurry up. You got to press go, and then we have to, you know, move on with our lives. Okay, now these are back to 0. This guy obviously still has to be in here the whole time. But since it's not prioritized by haulers, we shouldn't be dumping resources into this. But we can just leave this alone. And at the end of it, we're going to have the ENS mechanical blueprints that can go with the ENS architectural blueprints, which do still have to be duplicated. But when we have that finished, we will be one step closer to building this thing, which of course has to have one of all the, I guess, educational infinity stones down here, which we will still have to make more of, but we're getting there. This incredibly compact library set, that's going to be the biggest pain in the butt, because we have to make a whole bunch of, we have to make 200 books, and then we have to put them in a press to make the, well, incredibly compact library set. That's going to take a really long time. But you know how it goes. And of course, that has to be made in the library, which, if I wanted to make another library, guess what I'd have to have? An incredibly compact library set. So you can't shortcut this. It's just, it's going to be what it's going to be. Which is part of the reason why we needed to make extra storage for paper. Just want to put that out there so people aren't asking, like, hey, why aren't you doing that? Well, it's because of insert every single reason I've listed for the past 25 episodes about why something hasn't happened. It's complicated. That's not just a Facebook relationship status. I've got 35 exotic... Do people even use that? I don't even know. It's like, why would you put that on your Facebook? Oh, it's complicated. Like, why do people need to know this? I don't need... Okay, whatever. Moving on. The spicy sodas, should they be produced again after I change stuff back, will need to be going in here. However, now we're down to only mushrooms and rice balls, which is a huge problem. We're going to need to have these cooking tents rescue us from our own hubris here. And I'm going to switch this over to rice balls. We got tons of rice. And we actually have salt. We just need to be able to make stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and say the braised cabbage, which we don't have a whole lot of cabbage, is going to get put on the back burner, pun intended. We're all hands on deck for making the rice balls, which grant us absolutely no nutritional bonuses, but will keep our beavers alive. That is job number 1. So that's going to get taken care of. Forestry hauling upgrade. Why do I not have... Why does this say it's not connected to paths? Do I have to put a path on this? Did I build it wrong? I sure hope not. Please don't tell me this is wrong. Or is it because this building's paused? No. Okay, well, it's good to know that wasn't the problem. What? Come on, man. Why are you the way that you are? Do I have to have something, like, directly attached to this? Like, where am I supposed to... Where am I supposed to connect anything to this? I don't even have a free tile to check my stuff here. Okay, like, it goes into both of these just fine. So, what? Come on, man. After all that, really? Really? Come on. Like, what am I doing wrong? It's on top of the building. The game let me build it. Does it not like it because I flipped the forester thing? Like, I'm pretty sure... Oh, I can't flip it. I can't flip it, and I can't flip the farmhouse. What? Okay. Something is clearly extremely wrong here, and I have no idea what it is. Instead, I will be very sad, because that was a lot of resources we now have wasted, but... That's showbiz, baby. Brain-boosting salts, once again. The subject of my frustration. Strong alcohol, once again, the subject of my frustration. Chestnut beer, once again, the subject of my frustration. See a theme here? We have chestnuts. Did I turn... No. Okay, this is just slow. Alright. We have to have more fermentation barrels. I don't have anywhere to put them. Oh, see, I said I was going to do that, and then I didn't. I've got one over here making methane with nenifars, which doesn't have a storage over here. I guess that's probably fine. Boy, I had so many ideas. So many things that I was excited to show you guys from that other video. And this has just been a complete disaster, but that's Waterbeavers. See, I can't. I don't even really want to build stuff because it's just going to get in the way of getting other stuff taken care of. Like, why is this not connected, man? Like, it let me build it. It's on top of a valid building. It's like, what am I supposed to do? I know I've said it. Oh wait, oh that's a different building. Okay, like I know I've said it a whole bunch of times. You're probably sick of me saying this, but like, come on, how does this connect here? Does it have to be like on top of this thing? Because I don't know. That's what that has a tile up there for some reason. Ah! All right, we got to move on. Got to move on. I have to solve some sort of other problem too, or I'm gonna get absolutely flamed here. See, we need to change how power is routed. Easiest way to do that is going to be to have that come across here. I guess I have scaffoldings that would make that a little easier, but I don't necessarily want to use all those for that, and I don't have enough logs to build the crappy platforms. Well, we can start, at the very least, by building another water wheel here. And because this is just a straight power shaft, I can place more water wheels here, and I guess technically here, depending on how we want to have this routed here. You got to bear with me here, folks. I know I've said this a whole bunch, but trust me. I'm trying. We truly are. We truly are here. But if we can just get this stuff all hooked up in a way that's going to make some degree of sense, I think we're going to be in okay shape. I'm just going to have to let it happen here. Well, they built that pretty quick. So getting stuff through this way, like I said, probably going to be easier said than done. But this is... Now we're about to have water coming back through here, which I guess is probably good. Let's just wait for this to come back, then we'll lower that down. We already managed to pump out all of that in a 5-day drought. That's a little concerning. But fortunately, water's coming back in. It's all going to be fine. We're almost out of metal, too, here. Which is going to give me a couple more jobs back. Remember, we were going to put, what are these things called? Mechanical drills. There you go. We're going to put those in there at some point. Alright, so that's open. This will eventually flow the correct way. This will eventually re-wet these things. So much stuff going on. Now these are set up here. Got to build these two one at a time so they don't get trapped. These should be generating a pretty decent amount of power. I'm not going to... Okay, this is flashing strangely. I'm not going to remove this water wheel yet, but I am going to have to remove one, at least, one of these. So I can get into the back side of this, which is going to require coming over this lodging here. I know. I know. I'm committing crimes against Skrymer and her people here. And I can't even get beavers up here, man. Okay. Well, that's a deep subject. We got to get up here. I guess no, they can build from here. Except there is a medical bed in the way. But there's also an empty medium pile that can be demolished because this isn't running. So that'll help solve that problem. I still have all these unemployed beavers because for some reason this is not connected. Never understood that. I'm gonna go ahead and say I can justify putting a T intersection there. Too far from a path. Okay, they must have built that going the other way. Now it should be in range. There we go. How is it too far from a path if it already had 20? Okay, alright, whatever. The game seems very interested in testing me today. But now that we are dedicating all of our power to making rice balls, we have 1,400 food. I guess these pumpkins need to be planted. So let's just turn this on real quick so they can get that taken care of, and then move on and do something else. At least we have sunflower seeds. Sunflower oil was a very, very big problem for us for a while. But we can go ahead and, I guess I'll just let them gather this stuff while we're waiting. Okay, so that's in place. That's good. Now I just got to get these guys in here to build, which they can actually do. Alright, I've got 39 scaffoldings. I think I can justify using at least a couple of these here. Let's see. High power shafts aren't going to be my best friend here. I'm going to have upward like so. Vertical power shaft, another 40. That's fine. Just get that popped in there. They're not going to be able to build this unless they can actually access this tile here. So we have a fun tool for that. It's called Spiral Staircase, and they should be able to get that done before too long. Let's just drag this across here. Yes, I know these take scaffolding too, but it'll be cheaper than, you know, doing it the other way, so that will be a-okay to get that taken care of there. Please do not get yourself trapped in the corner. Please and thank you. I'm begging you. I'm actually on my knees right now as I'm sitting in my chair, comfortable, speaking into a microphone, playing a game about anthropomorphic beavers. I'm actually literally begging you. Okay. Water-wise, we're looking okay. At least we have half fermented sake we can put in the injury beds, which does seem to have helped a little bit. Just gotta get these numbers up, man. I think probably we should have several more mushroom growers, but I hadn't wanted to use all of our wood to build an extension onto this. I think that's going to be probably pretty necessary here. I did disconnect all of this garbage, so hopefully they don't try to do a stupid thing and walk through the poison again. I feel like I need more logs before I can do that. I've got these guys all working. These guys all working. I have 40 exotic seeds, and we're 5% of the way to 45, so maybe there's hope that we'll be able to have a tree nursery. But to do that, we have to make science, which, hey, guess what? That brings us back to the other problem we had of we don't have brain-boosting salts. Why don't we have brain-boosting salts? We don't have strong alcohol. Why don't we have strong alcohol? We don't have enough chestnut beer. Why do we not have enough chestnut beer? Because they're not producing enough. They're drinking all of it. Well, maybe. I don't know. I tend to blame the beavers for stuff that may or may not be their fault. So I'll tell you what. This guy, making half-fermented sake, is now no longer doing that. That is going to be for mediocre chestnut beer, just like this one. And this one is going to do the same. And this one is also going to do the same. Because I forgot that I built these guys to make half-fermented sake. And they need some friends that can also do exactly that. Which we, I guess, technically have room for. We've also got pine trees here that we can cut down for wood, as was pointed out. So I'm going to go ahead and say that is going to be a worthwhile thing to do. Just get these marked for cutting. This is, you know, because this is also land we could eventually blast down and use for something else. Just have to be able to get something done with it. Just put that in there and everything will be fine. This no longer has anything in range, so it can go away. I guess that is fine. Water continues to go up. Other comments suggested I put some medium tanks here with the help of some tall platforms, which I did reply saying that that was something we could do. So let's go ahead and do exactly that. This guy's paused anyway, so what we can do is we can move this one tile over. Just go ahead and empty all of these empty ones. And by empty all the empty ones, I mean empty the ones that are not empty and delete the empty ones. And start making room for some more medium tanks. Just a little bit more needs to come out of here. And of course, to make our medium tanks, we do have to have... Oh, I've actually got 116 metal fasteners now. That's cool. I forget what I needed those for, but I've got them. Oh yeah, it was this thing that doesn't work. Cool. Let's see. I guess I could just have them keep making this, but I'm going to turn on the primitive smelter again. That's important. This can function without workers, so we need to deprioritize it. That is fine. I just need to make sure that I have enough tar, and I do. So that's A-okay. I'm going to go ahead and not press the caps lock key. I'm going to press the tab key. Get those guys put in place. And get that guy put in place as well. So that's going to help us out a lot. That's going to be another 900 in replacement of, I don't know, 200 worth of capacity in a relatively central location, which we should be pretty happy with. All right, brain-boosting salts, strong alcohol, etc. This is actually going, so we can be happy with that. See, this is why I didn't delete these water wheels, because I knew they weren't going to be finished with it yet. Okay, this is going to get connected here. And then that will start the fun of trying to get all of this taken care of. None of these are operating anyway, so all I've got to do to make this possible is replace that path with a staircase so they can get up top, and then they can just build this garbage from wherever they want to. So that will go right there. Nice and simple. I guess... actually, I should have this... go down and then be vertical T intersectioned. Actually, no, that's not going to work. Upward T intersection. I can't figure out what the heck I'm supposed to do with this. So that would, but I said I was going to get rid of these because it wasn't, okay. But it also probably should go across, so, sure, fine. That's just going to have to work. At risk of, you know, wasting one of these things, I guess I'm just going to do this. That's going to have to be good enough. So that T intersection there. See, this is going to be able to just go like that. I want to be able to build buildings on top of this is what I'm getting at. So I can just leave these two in here. I guess that's fine, but I really wanted to get these connected. I'm sure there's a better way to do it. Feel free to do that on your own time. We will instead just focus on getting this actually connected so everything can share power. Because I've got vacancies, I've got incapacitated beavers in the same quantity as those vacancies, so if everything was actually set up correctly, we'd be looking pretty good. However, we both know that's not happening. So We've got a decent bit of coal. I'm going to swap this over to iron ores. We can build some of that up. We probably should have some storage over here. And I've got space. I know this is not the most perfect way of organizing this, but it's space that we have available to us that I would like to use. So that's going to help whenever they get around to building that. This is now all connected, and that is actually fabulous. So that once again gets replaced with a path, and now this is running plank making. We can go back to making metal blocks, or we can start making another medium cauldron, or we can start making an anvil. We have actually just about all the materials to make another anvil. Let's go ahead and do that, because again, we're going to need one of those for the ENS, or to make another factory, so on and so forth. And then after that, I guess I'll probably have them make a medium cauldron. Should help. Maybe. Hopefully. Wow, we actually have brain-boosting salts. What a concept, huh? So we do have the strong alcohol. Both of these are doing the same thing. We are going to need to get some more tar going. So I think that's probably fine to get that set up there. We still have these guys basically exclusively making rice balls, which, hey, cool, but that's not gonna be the best thing we can do forever and ever and ever. We need to be cultivating the production of superior food products, which the fried rice definitely is, but keeping things supplied does seem to be a challenge, even though we have it prioritized, which is why I really wish this worked. Don't understand what's going on with that. But this is an improvement here. This is definitely a huge improvement here. So the only time we're not going to be generating any power at all is when there is a drought. But I don't remember what the percentage is for bad tide occurrence on normal mode. I know on hard it's 60%. Maybe it's 50-50, or maybe it's 40-60 the other way. I guess that's probably what's happening. But now we have power, and in fact we have extra power, which means we can get into some of these other buildings that utilize it. Like, for example, I say as I click on the wrong thing, potentially mechanized kitchen house. Notice, same recipe for the fried rice, but the regular cooking house makes it in 2 hours. The mechanized kitchen house makes it in 7/10 of an hour. And it employs the same amount of beavers, has the same inhabitants. So, you know, this is probably a pretty good building for us to go ahead and get into. Also, you have the recipe for the vegetable stew, you have the recipe for the mushroom stew, and you have the recipe for the deluxe stew. And the mushroom stew, if we make more mushrooms, is going to be a really, really, really good recipe. And guess what? It takes a medium cauldron. So, if we can actually make an anvil here, I really thought this was going to be faster. But if we can get this made, then we can swap this over to a medium cauldron, and then we can decide where we want to put our other stuff, which of course is going to need to be located in a place that's not completely stupid. Which, I know I need to come up with better ways to word this stuff, but if I put this guy right here, it's almost in the perfect position. If we move it over one, then it is in the perfect position. And all I would have to do is put some supports over to the right and then have a way to get into the front door, which, if we had ladders, we could do. And guess what? We have 836 science. Guess how much ladders cost? 800 science. We are unlocking ladders right now. And what I'm going to do, because we have access to this right now, I'm going to pop this right here, and then I'm going to pop this right here, and they're going to build it, and we're going to be in a beautiful position, folks. Please do note, ladders in Waterbeavers cost 4 metal blocks apiece. So we won't be able to build this immediately, but we're making progress. All we need to do is get these guys to actually bring this stuff in here, and maybe we'll stand a chance. I've got iron in here. I need to have them probably switch over to coal, because we're not using that much iron anymore. So that's fine. Oh, these guys are all done. All right. Good job. Let's get that out of here. Saves us a couple jobs. I've got 7 vacancies. Let's go ahead and send those 3 guys over. Help fill in some of those jobs. We got 45 seeds. And guess what? We're really close to getting those 50. So, I know. I say right as I spend all of our science that we otherwise would have to use to unlock stuff to do with this. Baby steps. 1,000 science for the tree nursery. If we supply them with the materials to, you know, consume to make science, is not going to be a problem. But for the sake of our playthrough, we really have to get more, food. So, Mechanized Kitchen House is going to be next up. I really thought this was going to be going a whole heck of a lot faster, so I guess I have to devote the haulers to it again. I say as I have a completely inadequate supply of hauling beavers. But you know what's really cool? Is we've had all of these pumps completely paused for like an entire episode, and we have 3,000 water. I love the mechanized water pump. It is fantastic. We need to have more. We absolutely need to have more of these guys. So, if I am going to be smart about this, which we all know sometimes is an issue, I think if I can figure out what piece... I'm so used to these adaptive things. If I can figure out what piece actually needs to go into this... okay, that's actually not going to fit very nicely there. I miss my universal power shafts. They're so easy. Yeah, see, that would have to go... I have to go some other way. I'd have to get this to connect to something. This would have to be a 4-way, but it can't be a 4-way unless I move this over one tile and just... Okay. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do this. And it's still safe right now for us to make that happen. So let's just go ahead, not waste any more time. Just pop this in here, and just, you know, be done with it. So that's going to mean our Peacock Court, unfortunately, that was the most American pronunciation ever, has to be removed. The wooden stairs will also have to be removed. And we will need to put in some dynamite to blast this out. Now, why did I decide to put this here instead of on the other side? This is closer. That's it. But that also means, I don't know why I said that like that, I can do this on this side if I remove other stuff, and we can have 2 of them, which I think is a really compelling thing for us to do, and might actually be a faster way to get that accomplished, because I'd have to blast this out. So I guess that can be something we can work toward. Get all that taken care of. You know what? I'll build a crappy platform for this. I'm not going to waste other stuff. Sorry, Peacock enjoyers. I ruined your fun, but don't worry. We'll put it back. If I can find another place for it. It is a recreational thing, so it doesn't have to be... Oh, there you go. It doesn't have to be in a tremendously useful location. It just has to exist. And I did say we were going to put more of these in. I just never ended up doing it. Well, we'll get there. This, of course, is waiting on metal blocks. We've established that. This somehow does not have all of the coal yet. I guess that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it's what we have, so... At least it's 5 of these every 3 hours instead of, like, 1 of these every 2. I don't know. Whatever the other thing was. Okay, halfway to getting 50 exotic seeds. That's something to be celebrated. See, I really want to build another one of these water pumps, but... I can't use coal, and I don't have enough tar. Well, we have tons of water anyway. I guess it's fine. It was a good call putting these in here. Lotus flower tea is not currently being produced because this is making spicy sodas. However, I'm going to have this make lotus flower tea again. We already turned this one back into fried rice. But once I put other stuff on top of this, it's really, really going to make a difference. Okay, so now the question is, how are we going to stack things up to get the cooking house on top? Well, tall platform has to go on top of the stairs. There's no way around that. But since we already have this unlocked, let's just go ahead and build another one here. And then the rest of this can just go on top of a regular platform. And we already have 152 science. We're actually making science pretty quickly now, which I am very grateful for. Please, so help me. Give me the rest of this coal so we can just get this over with. So much that needs to get done that we need to be able to move on with. Okay, so new fun theory to test. It was requested, or rather asked, and I did not know the answer. Can we put suspension bridges off the top of an architect's lodge? I never thought to test that. Oh, well, this is a shocking surprise. I did not expect... I mean, it's not going to connect to anything, but... Wait a second. There's a doorway up there. No way. No way. No way. Let's come over here so we can see this. I can't believe it. That actually works. Okay. Well, that is not currently a very useful thing for us, but we can definitely try to remember that for our future self's sake. All right, come on. 11. It's 11 coal. Come on, man. This takes 12 hours to make. I got a lot of beavers tied up doing this. At least we have this connected. At least we have it connected, and it's not going to be dependent on if this gate is up or down. That's something to be happy about. Water storage, despite what it looks like, is not completely full. We do need to keep building these. But I really want to get these giant buried tanks too, but there's so much metal. It's so much metal. All right, come on. One piece of coal. One piece of coal. Make it happen. We're on limited time here. One piece. One piece. Come on. All right, well, they're clearly not interested in getting that accomplished. How are we looking over here? We still have tons and tons and tons and tons of lotus flowers. We actually have 2,300 food. Lots of mushrooms, since we're not using them for braised cabbage currently. I'm going to go ahead and say, because we have all of these logs and I want to save my scaffoldings, I'm going to go ahead and say, let's just pop this in here, and I'm going to start making some more mushrooms. We really should be making as many mushrooms as we possibly can. Wow, look at that. They're not going through the poison. Good job. Proud of you. Wow, it's actually happening. Never thought I'd see the day. So we just get to come back as soon as that's done, swap this over to the medium cauldron, I suppose would be the smartest thing to do, because the metal blocks don't take that long to make. This recipe does not require metal blocks. And we also don't have 200 science. I was going to say we can go ahead and get this thing working. But do note, this can function without workers, as long as the hauler beavers can get it supplied. So that will be another one of those eternal challenges for us, I suppose. But we will have the ability to get some storage put in here, because remember, these ladders can be used to, I don't know why my brain just went to those airline safety videos. Can't be used as personal flotation in the event of a water landing. It's not a water landing. You're crashing the plane. Anyway, whatever. We can use these to help us access stacked storages, these medium and large warehouses. But we have to have this set up differently here. Because this is a dam, we have to be able to get the beavers in here. But since we have the spiral staircase, guess what we get to do? We get to come in here and then zoom out because it's very loud. Get the path out, take this spiral staircase in here, rotate. And there you go. Now that's connected, which means I don't have to have this staircase here. Which also means I can take this pile out, which also means I can take those stairs out, which also means I can take those stairs out, which also means I can put in a ladder right here. Which then means I get to stop saying that before someone jumps through their computer monitor and strangles me. And then that means I can put platforms here, which means I can put storages. Not large warehouses. Just do as many of these as I want, and it will be beautiful, and no one can tell me otherwise. Or you can, I'm not going to stop you, but we'll go ahead and put in our small piles again here. once again for planks and regular logs, just to keep that humming along smoothly. And then when we finally get everything else taken care of, okay, that finished. Medium cauldron time. This should be a lot quicker. But then we have to have materials we're going to use in the mechanized kitchen house, which, depending on what we want to make, evaluating our ingredients list, I think the smartest thing for us to start with is going to be the mushroom stew, since we have so many chestnuts and mushrooms and lotuses. So, if we want to be intelligent, you know what we do? I almost clicked on gears for chestnuts. Click on that, and click on mushrooms. That's going to be all of the ingredients for the mushroom stew. The mushroom stew, of course, is a warm thing, which means it goes in the warm storage, which we do not have over here. But we can build it really, really, really easily. Where does it go? It is a 3x3 building, which means we will have to clear space over here. Spicy sodas, etc., so on and so forth. But we've got some space right here. That would not be a terrible place for us to have something like this, just right in this area. So, yeah, it's fine to use platforms for this. We'll just do that. Unless this has to be on the ground, which is going to be hilarious. No, good. Alright, why did I set it up all the way off of this? In case I want to put something else here, but that will go here. This will be set for mushroom stew. This will be accessible. I know this is hideously ugly. We're going to fix it. But there's a decent amount of beavers that live here, and this is kind of easily accessible. Should be marginally better. I think that's going to be a very good investment of our time. We're 35% of the way done there. Do I have an anvil storage anywhere? That's for the laboratory glassware. So many things to keep track of here. I'm just going to put this up here because I have to have somewhere for it to go. Anvil storage. Now it actually has a place to go. Once that's constructed, at least. 73%. I've got 300 science. Okay, so we're actually getting some stuff done here. I kind of saved myself from certain viewer rage-related death. But before we build that, I don't know, you guys are normally nice about stuff. Normally. We'll go ahead and put this T-intersection here. And, because we can stack these things, we'll go ahead and put a second one in place. Because we can. We have the ability, and it is beautiful. 88%. Of course, now I'm thinking about Back to the Future, but once this is done, then we will have both blueprints for the ENS. We can't build it yet, but that'll be done, and this guy can get back to making gears, which we will need to use at some point. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. We don't need these, but before I delete them, I need to make absolutely sure that these are going to be foolproof for supplying beavers through the entirety of a drought or bad tide, maximum of which for a drought is 9 days. I think bad tide's the same in normal mode. So, using our favorite thing ever, math, multiply by what? 2.6 for thirst. So, 170 beavers, that's 340 round up to, say, 400-ish, which actually would be a little higher for 2.6, but ballpark it at 400 water per day times 9 is 36, which is not what we have. So we're not quite there. But having another one of these guys here as soon as that's able to be used will definitely be helpful. We have our medium cauldron. I sure hope we do, unless I just made a terrible mistake. I absolutely just killed this while it was still being made. That is tragic. All right, come on. Come on, we got 2.5 days. I can't be this stupid all the time. It is not possible. Oh, they haven't. Oh, they can't build this either because I don't have metal. Ah. Okay. Well, I try very hard to self-censor because I know some of you watch with your children. Just know that I am feeling extreme rage, and there's so many things I would love to say but will not. Come on, man. Why am I like this? At least we have more mushroom growers that can grow more mushrooms. I need to get these prioritized and then deprioritized in that order. That will help. And now we have access to this side across here. We can cut these down. I can build more stuff. Just takes time, folks. Oh no, what happened here? Pollution resistance. I can't believe it. Okay. That definitely had to get removed. But let's turn that back on. That was... I was wondering why all this was dying. Oh, boy. Okay. Alright, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. You got 1.9 days. That is not going to be enough to get us our metal blocks so we can build everything else. And now I have to build... Gotta get all this stuff done. Okay, where's all my coal going if it's not going in here? Because... I guess I can let them finish this. And then I pause it. Okay. I just... How does this reliably happen? Okay, I have 50 exotic seeds. Let's trade for sunflower seeds. That seems much easier. Lotus flower tea and methane still. Because we actually have a decent amount of lotus flower tea. It's looking pretty okay. Come on, scrap metal. Come on, scrap metal. Let's go. Big money. I don't even gamble. What am I doing? Come on, man. A single piece of scrap metal is going to hold this. Okay, there we go. 12 hours, just in time for nobody to be working, but that's fine. We still have another day. And this is all connected. Let's not forget. These will continue rotating even during a bad tide because that's going to be going through here. So let's go ahead and remove the temptation for them to, you know, take a stroll into the nasty over here. I am just so frustrated with myself that I didn't have this going, but it's fine. This does still have some pollution resistance factor in there, so I guess that is okay. And I wanted to have this blasted down too. There's so many things. So many things I wanted to do. Best laid plans, so on and so forth. But at least the worm storage is done, so that whenever we actually get something accomplished, we can, you know, continue working on that. Okay, well, let's see, what else? What else? I guess there's other stuff I did want to take care of that we could probably discuss while we're waiting. Eventually, I do want to replace this primitive dam upgrade and all that with a floodgate dam, so that this could be an emergency overflow if we need it. But that's not super high priority. I think that was just something someone suggested because we had that overflow crisis. I will not forget to lower this before the bad tide starts. I'm just trying to keep all this flowing as best as I can. 65% there. Actually importing some lotus flower tea. Very good. Spicy soda here is going to have to get consumed before it can be changed, but this scouting balloon currently can be paused, which means this can be paused, which should help us a little bit with some of our population woes. Okay, now I actually have a medium cauldron. Now I can actually switch this over and start making some metal blocks, which means I can actually have ladders. They've already started doing this, which is good. We can go ahead and... Of course, it's not connected by paths. There's not a ladder here. Alright. Don't let me forget. Don't let me forget. I've got to change these. So let's go ahead and... just, oh, come on. Flip that all the way down. And now that that's stopped, we can flip that all the way up, which means this should stay beautiful and perfect with no other problems at all. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make the decision to pause this mess. We'll get some homeless beavers, but they will be reassigned. Don't you worry about that. Everything else here should be looking pretty good. We'll get those guys sorted away just as soon as the bad tide has started successfully with absolutely no suffering. 7-day bad tide. 7 days. And everything is looking beautiful here, except now this is unable to pump. And we are going into a 7-day bad tide with 3,000 water. Which, 3,000 water is going to be enough to last 7 days with this many beavers. But when you factor in, the recipes that we're using, then it might get a little dicey, at which point I can turn some of these pump upgrade. Ah, this one is still going. Ah, you know what? No, you can stay. You can stay. That's fine. So, how much power are we still making during this nonsense here? A respectable 714. When these aren't turning, I'll take it. I'll take it. Nothing to be upset about there. So, how are we looking? Still no metal blocks. Okay. Because we have to have coal, we have to have scrap metal. Looks like something just got dropped off there. Scrap metal we do still have. So that is looking okay. Science-wise, we're at 196, so we're not going to be able to get that tree nursery. But we have the seeds. That was the big battle. Outside of, having dirt, which we've discussed doing something with. But remember, we have power here. And I have this little intersection here so we can route it in. The big mechanical drills, like I said, require the 3 tall thing there. So this will actually fit very nicely right here. All we have to do is give it something to sit on, which I think I already tried this, but I forgot. So let's take a look. I don't want them to actually build that. Oh, of course, this thing's in the way. Okay, so I'm not going to know because this is the way it is. So instead, if I want to try that, I have to find another spot where this fits, which does not currently exist. Alright, well that was a waste of time. You remember the other playthrough, they'd put in a bunch of these in this corner. We don't have the ability to do that right now, but could be a decent idea. Yeah, there's really nowhere else on the map. Alright, so never mind. That was an idea that, I guess was better in my head than it was on paper. Okay. Beavers. I need you. I need you to come in here and make me some metal blocks. I absolutely implore you to go to work and get something accomplished. There you go. Good job. Alright, so where does that leave us now? This guy has finished. He needs to be making gears. All that other stuff can come out. So now we have ENS blueprints that need to be duplicated, which means they have to have somewhere to go once they are done, which means we have to have scroll displays like we do over here. So I'm going to put these two right here just so they can be right next to each other. ENS. Not EA Sports. It's in the game. Okay, those two are going to have a spot to go. Now we have to go into the Artist Lodge. Did I say how much I love the Simple Sounds mod, not assaulting my eardrums with all the building noises? Alright, let's fancify the architectural blueprint first in the Artist Lodge. Get that brought over here. And then once that has been fancified, then we can bring it over to the Copyist Lodge. We're not going to need more than a couple of these, but we do still have to fancify it, and I do want to duplicate it. So, we just need these both to be in operation, which will allow them to get stuff done. We're going to end up with, like, at least 5, because I know I'm going to forget. But it's fine. It is what it is. Okay. Still making metal blocks. Let's prioritize the construction of this ladder, because that's literally holding all of this back. And I refuse to end this video without this mechanized kitchen house in operation. So help me. I guess I can speed this back up. Gotta get somebody in here. And I betcha they're not gonna take it over here without... I always forget how this works. You're carrying nothing. Why were you all the way over there? Now you are... Oh, you live in the farmhouse. Okay, well, I guess that's allowed. I'm going to have to change this to the regular architectural blueprint. And I guess I can do the same here. That should trigger them being able to actually, import this into here and get started duplicating while we wait for all of that metal to be made. Should being the operative term there. So now we wait for this one beaver. Hey, look what they're carrying. It's the architectural blueprint in the most roundabout, frustrating way possible to get to work. Okay, cool. So now what I can do is I can put this back to architecture fancy, which is what is being produced in this building. And then as soon as that gets duplicated, we'll swap both of these over and then swap that over as well, which is, that one's already there. Okie dokie. Coming right up on 100%, which will immediately mean that gets... Actually, no, they have to be fancified so they can be copied. Or used. Period, point blank. Alright. Where is... There, okay. Looking good. I forgot how slow this was. Now they have to do this again. But progress. We are making it. And metal blocks are metal blocks. Very, very close. And then I'm going to be so happy when this actually works. Like, you have no idea. Like, okay, you probably have some idea. But the amount of joy will be palpable. They're not even going to get halfway through this. Come on, man. We got stuff to do. We got stuff to do. I know there's at least one person that wants a 7-hour Waterbeavers episode, but again, if I did that, then I would have a lot of people hunting me for sport. And it is not me season. It is never me season, so good luck getting that hunting license. 60%. Should be able to get that finished tomorrow in-game. I guess I probably should just keep checking on that. We do have some jobless beavers, which I'm not particularly worried about because this building will have to be turned on again at some point to make more planks. And then the kitchen house doesn't have to have workers, but it can have workers. So I guess we'll just keep that back of our mind here. Sure wish this was quicker. But it's fine. This is only going to make 3 of them, but I don't think I'm going to need more than 3. Yeah, so as soon as this does... I think I remember this making 5 before. Maybe that was a change. Alright, actually, this one can get turned into mechanical blueprint, because it can't do that yet. But we just have to make the rest of these into fancy ones, and then this can get swapped over. Super simple process. He says... sitting here waiting. Okay, that should get done today. We'll come back and check on that. Alright, this has finally been built. This has finally been built, which means I can finally come over here and build this. And then we can set this to mushroom stew. And then, friends, that is going to be a tremendous, and I do mean tremendous, step forward for beaver kind. Especially those who like mushrooms. Which I sure hope is all of them, because that's what they're going to be eating. Can't send that plate back. Okay, yeah, that's just about done. Okay, mechanical blueprints. Now we have 3 of the fancy architectural ones. I can't imagine we're going to build more than 1, but you never want to have to do that research again, let me tell you. Good. 25%, 26% before the end of the day. This... now just has to have the medium cauldron in place, which I know we had somewhere. Or maybe it's because there isn't a building to hold the medium cauldron that they can't put it. I always forget this. Always, 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 always forget it. Okay, anvil is there. I guess this is fine here. Medium cauldron storage, why not? Although I am kind of concerned that it's not showing up here either. Well, I guess we'll find out. Let's check back on these guys. There we go. Yeah, you got some pep in your step. Alright, 99%. Bring it on over here. Make the 3 copies. I have a lot of paper over here. Probably don't need to have all that. Probably need to start making more paper, but we will get there. Oh. Duh. I need to change this back. Fancy mechanical blueprint. That's why that wasn't going. Yep, put it in there and take it right back out. Let's go. There you go. That's like that stuff. Oh, man. When I was in college, I worked in a restaurant, if I haven't told you this story, or if you haven't heard this story before. And one of my favorite coworkers, I'm obviously not going to use names or whatever, but he was in the Navy, and he told me that one time he was made to stand on the deck and swab the deck in the rain. I was like, what purpose does this serve? Okay, obviously there's some sort of like leadership orientation, whatever. You have to do what you're told, whatever method to that. But like, come on, it's like, I don't know. There's all sorts of other allegories I could use for that. Different things that may or may not be appropriate for general age audiences. But I always thought that was kind of funny. It's like, man, you're really making this guy stand out there in the rain, mopping the deck of an aircraft carrier. Good job. So as soon as they finish copying these 3, which should be pretty early in the next day, then we'll have to remember to turn these off, or we can have them make stuff like comic books, which do benefit the well-being. It's still 15, by the way. It's super, super low. But now this has been constructed, and we're bringing materials in, and we have all of the supplies right here. I love this so much. I love it so much. It's actually going to be making food that our beavers can actually eat. Actually, I could just pause the building, but after I change the recipe, as soon as we get that done. Alright, 0, none, pause. Why is that flip-flopping? That's very strange. I don't even know which one is doing that, but... Oh, it's this thing. Because I guess the water is still being pumped out. Okay, that's paused. Because I think that's causing problems with this. Mushroom stew, mushroom stew. We have 13. Now, okay, yeah, water is, unsurprisingly, an issue. But once this is... What? Oh, what? What kind of... Why is that... I guess that's just too small of a... Okay, whatever. It's fine. I'm not gonna waste time worrying about it. Okay. Sunflower seeds we're actually getting, which is good. These guys can eat that, but they really shouldn't be. We should be exporting. I guess force importing from this side would be the better way to do it. See how much better this goes when these episodes are longer than an hour? This would have been a terrible episode if I ended it at 45 minutes. Okay, where's my sunflower seeds? Where's my sunflower seeds? Force import. Problem solved. This is incredibly irritating. If I pause this, is that going to stop? Good. Alright, did we actually... Yes, okay. Alright, none. Pause. Good. Alright, so now we have 2 days. 2 days left. And we are making mushroom stew. Slowly. But we are making mushroom stew, and I can keep stacking these things. We can keep making metal blocks. I have 6, so I could actually build another thing here. Let's do that, because I know I've got a lot of mushrooms, and I'm going to have a lot of other stuff. So this would be an advantageous thing for me to be doing here. I know there's at least a few of you who are just absolutely beside yourself with joy that I am stacking buildings now. I want you to know that I care about you, and I appreciate you very much. I guess those are kind of the same thing, but let's go ahead and start construction on the second one, which will, of course, have to have a medium cauldron. Which, I guess, we probably are going to be fine on scrap metal. I mean, these guys are technically on the case. They're working on it. This is paused because I didn't want to mess with that. This, of course, wow, already has almost everything else it needs. If we could just get some more scrap metal, this would actually be looking pretty good, too. Oh, we've got so much coal. Alright, I'm turning this back on. And this can go back to making iron. Obviously, we need to build more of these medium mines. That is a battle for another day. You know, survive and advance, so on and so forth. But I think it's probably about time to make more dynamite. So if we turn on the Handicrafter's Lodge, we need to make nitroglycerin, which I can easily swap over from tar, at least for a little bit. Saltpeter we've got no storage of? Okay. Well, that can just get swapped over. That's going to be fine. But yeah, outside of that, I think we're going to be good. We just have to let that run for a little bit of time. Can't forget to turn that back on. Because we are out of water. We are out of water. Which, you know, is fine. We have a day left. They can drink the lotus flower tea. But the recipes that use water aren't going to be pretty happy. So let's go ahead and activate emergency pumping mode with the help of these 2 deep water pump upgrades, so we can at least have some water coming in. Okay, gears are predictably very slow. Just need to get some more scrap metal in here, and then they should be able to take care of that. I need to set this to the correct recipe. Get these lotus flowers. I guess I could prioritize... Oh, I'll prioritize these by haulers. I know we have to get more haulers. That's what this is supposed to be for. I know. I know. Bear with me, folks. But we'll get there. Chestnuts. Rapidly depleting. I think we may need to have more chestnut trees. Or we could at the very least check and see... okay, they're not being used for that. This is making rice balls. Our rice ball storage is full. Somehow we still don't have any cabbage. I guess they're just eating it. But we probably should go ahead and switch these 2 back to braised cabbage. So this can get filled up. Even if they only make this slowly, it's going to be better than nothing. We do need to plant more cabbage. I know we need to plant more everything. But the mushroom stew is really going to help. Assuming we can keep this supplied. Which chestnuts definitely going to be a thing that we're going to have to do better with. But what we can do is we can unplant these trees here on this level. Those can definitely be made into chestnut trees. That is not going to be a problem. And if we're making berries eventually in a florist, which we can continue building more of those, then we won't need these here. But I'm not going to get rid of those quite yet. Don't worry. If we're going to plant chestnut trees, I'm not going to wait for this. I'm not going to wait for this. I'm just going to get rid of these ember blossoms. No, that's not what it's called. I'm just going to, you know, do what I got to do. Okay. Clean water is back. So let's go ahead, let this filter a little bit more. Then I will raise that up. Looks like that's fine. Up you go. This is fine. Down you go. Now we're getting our water back, which means I can pause these. And this is in the midst of making another medium cauldron, which means we will have another mechanized kitchen house. We got lots of mushrooms, working on getting the chestnuts up. We already knew we had a lot of lotus flowers. This was such a good idea. I just zoomed right past the area I was supposed to be messing with. Okay. So this is a lumberjack flag. This does not need to be taking up valuable real estate in this exact location. It's gone. It can go literally anywhere else if we need it. Now this can all become chestnut trees. Every little bit counts. Let's unmark these for cutting so we don't have any tragedies later. And I think I kind of don't want to cut our supply of pine resin, but I also feel like we really need to have more chestnut trees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first 2 rows here and here of these pine trees, get those cut down, and then I'm going to replace them with chestnut trees. I know we probably should have a chestnut farm somewhere else, but we really need to make sure we can actually, you know, sustain these new food things if we're going to be serious about it. So someone just needs to come along and fix that. I'm also going to put in, now that we are actually, you know, able to produce things, I'm going to put in this guy right here, and then I have to blow this up, but we don't have dynamite yet, so that's fine. I want to make sure that we're able to actually legitimately produce as much water as possible without problems, because now we're starting to run out. We have all this other stuff sucking up water like it's going out of style. Alright, yeah, we're at an hour 20. I gotta end soon. I just want to make sure... I don't want to replant. Well, not pine trees at least. So I need to put in another lumberjack flag in this general area so they can actually cut trees. Sunflower oil probably doesn't need to be stored in 2 things. Eh, this is fine. I'm not gonna lose my mind trying to figure this out. We'll just gradually add these in as they get removed. Should be okay. Don't expect this to get built quickly because we don't have enough coal, but this is making iron anyway. Let's swap that over. Still making scrap metal, that's fine. Both of these now are operating. Don't need these to be prioritized by haulers because all of their supplies are right here. But there's just a small problem, and that's all of the chestnuts are in this one, so sorry about you, you're going to have to wait. But, hey, that's showbiz, baby. What a terrible catchphrase. I need to have something else, but you know how this goes. It's Waterbeavers. Suffering is part of the equation. So, let's... Oh, wow, these guys are thirsty. Let's recap what we've accomplished today, just from what I can see here. We got more mushrooms growing. We have more... I always forgot what these are called. Chestnut trees. We've got mushroom stew being produced, even if it is being consumed as fast as it can be made. It is being produced. Mechanized water pump number 3 going in. This one can definitely be unpaused. I'm glad I got that. And we did finally get all of the exotic seeds. We are still waiting on science. And of course, we are waiting on dirt. But I think the mechanical drill is going to be a good thing for us to work for next episode, which in this series will be Tuesday. But you might have noticed we have to make these regular drill bits. Drill bits are made in the factory using scrap metal and methane and sunflower oil. So we're going to need to make a lot more scrap metal or harvest it. We do have, you know, we have this up here, but long term we need to be able to produce it handily, which until we get to the high temperature foundry, which is not that one, this guy, we can't just synthesize scrap metal. Well, you can't do it with this either, but we have to be able to produce it, which means more primitive smelters, which means we're going to have at least one more medium mine. That, I think, is going to be easiest to just put right here, which is going to require a little bit more demolition, which is another one of those reasons why I wanted to make explosives. You can see the nitroglycerin is a very slow process, and then the dynamite itself is also a slow process, because guess what? It uses sawdust. Guess what we don't have? Sawdust. Guess why we don't have it? Because we are not making enough planks. Because this one, for some reason, is the one that we've put all of our eggs in. This one's going to be faster. So I'm actually going to pause that, because it's a far walk. We'll have this guy do everything. I don't know if it's going to be faster or not, but that's working. We're already on our way to medium cauldron. Well, it's not number 3, it'd be like number 5 at this point, but I want to have at least one extra of these at all times. Don't forget we can make our fried rice here too, but I just wanted this to be the mushroom stew because this is very, very easy ingredients to have all in one place. That should be a tremendous, tremendous help. But this does need to get put back to metal blocks at some point. Just not right now. Lots and lots and lots of stuff to think about. Lots of stuff to get taken care of before the next episode. So I do always appreciate your comments, suggestions, pointing out mistakes, whatever. Please, if you have any idea why this does not work, please let me know. This is very frustrating. I really want to be able to use this because I know it's a thing that a lot of people really want to see. But I can't do it if I don't know how. So You already know the drill. Beard Boosters directly subsidizing the insanity of trying to do this without a whole lot of research or thinking behind it. Just kind of feeling things out. I know the mod page specifically said not to do it this way, but I can't read, so that's fine. We have a tremendous amount of stuff we still need to get to, but I feel very good. I feel a lot better now about this episode than I did 20 minutes into it. But again, really appreciate the support. Cannot do without you, and I'm so glad that you're sticking through this series, because there's just so much cool stuff we haven't even gotten to yet. Like you saw in Wednesday's video, or whatever day that was. Time is an illusion. I think it was Wednesday. With the other colony review. So I'm going to do more of those. I've got a decent bit of a backlog in terms of taking a look at those colonies and making videos on them. So the plan right now is to do at least one of those a week in either the Wednesday or Thursday slot. If I have time to do two, then I will. But I just think it's really fun to check all this stuff out, and I'm glad you guys seem to be liking those as well. So please do continue sending those in. Timberborn also is having another map contest. So I know there's a number of you who are into that. So you can check that out on the Timberborn Discord or their socials for details on that. Would love to see you guys enter that, because I know some of you make some pretty cool maps. But that's all the time we got for this one. Have a fantastic rest of your day. We will be back tomorrow with the Iron Teeth and some, hopefully, big progress there. But yeah, I really appreciate you. Take care. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.